Okay, so the next part after the drum solo hits is where the phaser comes in. Now, in my demonstration there, I didn't really use too much of it. It was quite low, but in my opinion, you can really give it some hammer if you really want to. You could almost turn it up as far as it will go, and it will still sound okay, really. I mean, you can really go to town on this song because if you listen to the recording, I think there's a panner in there. It kind of sweeps in and out. It goes from one speaker to the other. There's all kinds of effects layered in there, and just basically do what you want, really, unless you're quite conservative. But anyhow, the first part, once you've switched the phaser up, goes like this. Now, I don't know what the technical term for these bends is. I'm sure somebody in the forums will tell me afterwards. But you're hitting one string and bending a second string at the same time. It's quite a common effect, but it's just used for each note here. So the first one, you start by holding the ninth on the E string, and then you bend the 12 on your B string with yet more vibrato, and then you release it, hit the ninth on the B, and then grab the 11th on the G. So then you move that shape up to the 11th and the 13th, then the 9th and the 11th again, 2, 7 and 9s, and then back up to the 9 and the 11th. You're kind of palm muting that in between to accentuate each note as well. Then you play the first little section of that again. Then you go up to the 11th and the 13th. And the 12 and the 14th. Next part, it goes something like this. Okay, so that is a slide up to the 11th on your G string, and then a 9 on your B, a big bend on the 11th of your E. So you release that 11, you hit the 9th, and then you back twice to the 11th again with some vibrato. And you bend and release to the 9 and hit the 11th on your B. Hit the 9th, and then 2 bends on your 12 on the E. So then you've got 3 fairly big bends of your 15th on the E. It comes back down and vibratoing again. And then you've got a little hammer on 13 to 14 on the B. And then quite a large bend and release on your 16th on the B. Release it to the 14 and then grab the 15th on the G with some vibrato. And then 14 there on your B, and then you've got some big bends on the 16th on your E. No, it's not like that at all, that's a mistake. Something like that. So let me run through that part from the start. 3 bends there of your 16th. Then a hammer on, a pull off from the 14th to the 16th. A bend on the 16th on your B string. Grab the E at the top. And then 2 more bends on your B. Release it back down with some vibrato. Back to the 14th. Another bend and release with your 16th. Like that, just listen to what I'm doing. So that's a pull off after the bends to the 14th. You hit the 15th on your G and then the 14th on your B again. Quickly. Then that massive bend for the 16th on your E. Okay, now the really fun part. Next part goes like this. Well, the end doesn't go like that, but the rest does. It sounds quite impressive, but it's not very difficult at all to play once you get the pattern memorized. You start off like this. Now that is 10 on the G string, and then a 9 on the B, a 9 on the E, and a 9 on the B again. So now you've got a pull off from the 13th. Use your little finger or your pinky to hit the 13th and release it to the 9. So you do that twice. So you pull off, hit the 9, and then hit the 9 on the B. Twice. And you slide those little 2 notes you're holding, slide that down to the 4th. So you're doing the same shape and the same pattern, but you're pulling off from the 8th now down to the 4th. So it goes. And then you're doing the same again, sliding to the 6th with your first finger, and you're pulling off from the 9th this time. Then you go into the 7th and the 11th. So you should bear in mind that your first finger's moving up a half step, but your pinky's moving up a full step. 2 of those, and then to the 8th and the 12th. Then back to that again from the 9th and the 13th. So and you repeat that whole section twice. You go. This section, this little part here, is probably the hardest part of the whole song, in my opinion. It's kind of hard to work out how he comes out of that pattern. I know he plays the 11th, the 7th to the 11th section. I think it's something like he slides to the 8th there on the B, and then there's a pull off from the 12th to the 8th like normal. Then he slides into the next part where the 13 will come in to the 9th and plays those 9s there. But then there's a bend on your 12th of your B, hit the 9th on the E, 12th again down there, and then you've got a bend on the G from your 11th, then 2 9s, then 2 pull-offs from the 12 to the 9 on the B and the 12 to the 9 on the E. So it's something like that. It's forgive me if I'm wrong. I'll play it slowly anyway. Again, because it's quite tricky, you've got to get it down fast. No. And then, the next little section here, it's very Jimi Hendrix like. He's bending the 12th on the B and then hitting the 9th on the E alternatively pretty fast, so it's kind of like sounds pretty impressive with a phaser when you can get it right. So I think he does it about 7 times. It's difficult to count. You just get the feel for it, and you'll listen to the record and you'll know. So okay.